Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls and I'm your host, and I gotta tell you, I got a dude on today that I literally just met face to face on Skype for the first time. We're friends on Facebook, but it was suggested to me that I have this dude on my show, so I'm gonna bring him in here in a minute. His name is Troy Smith. He's the guy's a banker, does mortgage loan origination. He's an entrepreneur, an author. He's a sales coach and speaker, and does all kinds of cool stuff from what I can tell. So I want to go ahead and apologize. Number one, we had some technical difficulties, so we're running a few minutes behind. So please forgive us for that. But I want to go ahead and bring Mr. Troy Smith on the show. Troy, welcome to the show.
We got some hand claps or something? There we go.
Yeah. Screaming crowd.
Yes. How you doing, Ken? Thank you for having me on today.
Dude, I'm glad you're here. So this show is I grew up in a very, very poor family, and I've hit many, many walls in my life. And so I was thinking about this back in March or April, and I thought, I want to do a show where I interview celebrities and entrepreneurs and talk to them about the difficulties they've faced in life and how they got through it, how they got over the hump, got past what was holding them back. So that's what this show's all about, Breakthrough Walls. So let's start off with talking about where you were born and raised.
Well, good. Well, you know what? I'm glad I'm on the show because the stereotypical thing is say, you were poor? Ken, you were poor? You're not supposed to be poor, right?
Why?
But my name is Troy Smith. I'm from an organization called Most Moto, which stands for Mindset of Successful Thinking. Moto is short for motivation. I'm a true believer in I truly believe that people have the unalienable right to be successful in life if they just change the way that they think. They just change the way that they actually process things. And you can be successful, but now success is all relative to the person. So it all depends on exactly what success means to you. Like you mentioned that you grew up in a poor family, a poor situation. But like myself, I'm from the inner city. My whole life I've been born in a project in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we laughed about that in the beginning. Like, there's projects in Knoxville, not Nashville.
Yeah.
Knoxville. There's projects in Knoxville. Yes, they are. And a lot of people can definitely attest to that and say, hey, I knew him. I seen him grow. So, but we didn't know we were poor. We didn't know we had less then because everyone around us was the same. So,
right.
But I'm very familiar with breaking through walls. That's for sure. Literally and figuratively, for sure.
Nice, dude. So you grew up, you were, you went to school in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I was born in Knoxville, went to school in Nashville, Tennessee, in regard to Tennessee State University.
No, I'm talking about grade school, elementary school, all that,
man.
high school and all that. So,
right.
So you ended up in Nashville, going to college in Nashville?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So how does a guy come out of the projects and end up in college?
It's all about a mindset thing, truthfully.
Okay.
All about how you think.
So how'd you get that mindset, though, man? Because a lot of people are born in the projects and stay in the projects.
Yeah, they do. And before you do stay there physically, you go there and stay there mentally. So
right.
I grew up in a single-family household. My mother only had a ninth grade education, man. She went to school. She had me at 15 years old, dropped out in the ninth grade, and she had to raise a family.
Wow.
So that she instilled that from the beginning in me and my brothers. It was three of us, Reggie and Marcus, and she instilled that in us very young to say, hey, since I didn't have it, education would be the key. So she always told us about, hey, you need to go to school. You need to go to school. Even though she may not have known exactly what's the importance behind it, she just knew that she didn't do it. So it had to be something there great.
Right.
So that's what I did. So I wanted to make sure I made my mama proud, man. So she watching this now, and I'm trying to make sure I sit up straight because she'll get on me about sitting like this. And so,
yeah.
I was trying my best to make sure even now as a grown man, I still have to listen to what my mom had to say. So that's how we have to. That's how I got to Nashville to go to school because I just always knew it's something greater than being here. It's something greater about being in the project. So,
but as a kid, I mean, and it sounds like your mother did one heck of a great job raising you. But as a kid, I mean, I didn't grow up in the projects in inner city. I grew up in a tiny little town that was nothing but projects.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It wasn't. But it was, still we were in a pretty poor household. And so, like I know people that are still there, that are still in that little town and still, smoking weed and doing all the nonsense. Like, and I did that when I was a kid. I was getting into all kinds of trouble. Did you run it? Did you do that? Did you get into trouble when you were a kid?
You know what? I tried. I literally tried to get trouble. But, it's by the grace of God that I actually, his hand has been on me my whole life, because I tried to steal, Ken. I tried to steal, but I always got caught. I tried to lie, but I always got caught.
I know.
I tried to start food fights in school. I always got caught. So I think I was learning very easily, like, hey, you just don't have the mentality to be a criminal.
Right.
So I grew up around it. My family members, my whole family at one time was either on drugs or selling drugs. That's how it goes. I mean, I got people to this day. It's just there. It's around me, but you got to actually want to change the way that you do things. My mother made sure, she made sure that we didn't stay around certain areas and certain places because of that.
So did you, what about your brothers? They come out on top like you?
Oh, yeah. See, so I'm about to blow your mind right here, Kim. I'm going to blow this thing. I'm going to break through the wall right here. Yeah. So we got a side. I got my mother's side and my daddy's side. Okay. So my mother had 3 kids. She actually had 4, and my baby brother Jordan was stillborn. So she had 4 kids. But my father has 17 kids.
Come on, man.
So when you say, and then it depends on what auntie you talk to. They may say he got 22 kids.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm dead serious. Dude, so when you say, did your brothers? Yes. I mean, on my mom's side, she did what she had to do. On my dad's side, we're still working on that, but they're doing a great job. People are trying to do what they need to do. So I'm trying to be an example to multitudes.
That's like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's my brother. I got my brother Reggie. Reggie, he's a master barber and also a fitness coach. This guy lost over like almost 200 pounds.
Wow.
My younger brother Marcus is a tech guy. He's in technical stuff. And then I got plenty of entrepreneurs. See, my dad, believe it or not, was an entrepreneur. Well, my mother's an entrepreneur. My mom, believe it, and she probably get mad at this, but she sold drugs at one time.
She's on here, by the way. She just made a comment. So
you're
in trouble now.
Look, my mom, she did what she had to do to survive, man. My mom used to sell hot plates. See, if you're from the hood, you know what hot plates are. You got the icy lady. But one time my mom was an icy lady. She sold candy. She sold food. At times she had to do what she had to do, selling little drugs here and there. She found out she wasn't good for that.
Yeah, right.
But hey, entrepreneurship runs in my family, and my father has entrepreneur spirit as well. But he never got to get things off the ground. But a lot of circumstances, decisions that you make, unfortunately, can affect you. So
yeah. So you grew up in the projects, man, which like there's not a whole lot of people out there. I'm friends with Johnny Wimbrey. I don't know if you saw my interview with Johnny, but he wrote a book called From the Hood to Doing Good, and he's
I'm gonna check that out. Me and Johnny may need to connect.
Yeah, Johnny's good peep. So, but so you grew up in the projects, and statistically, she's. Your mom just said, "Oh my, he done did it now." Oh, dude, you're in trouble.
But hey, Ken, I truly believe that everyone has a story, and everyone that's a part of the photo. That's the good thing about you. You had a story, but when you put that picture up of your landscape of your house with the 5 acres, right?
Yeah.
That shows from where you came from and then where you are now, where you're going. So I truly believe that everyone has a story. And that's what people buy into first is your story before they buy into your product.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, look, I'm a high school dropout, man. I didn't go to college. I've had a lot of college graduates work for me, although over the years.
Hey, look, I got to give shout out to my boy James Springer.
I love James.
Said this. Hey, James gave me this thing. We was talking on the phone. We talk a lot on the phone, and he said, "Hey, Troy, you know what? The A students teach the B students to work for the C students." Right? So I felt pretty good about myself. I was a C student, but I chose to be there, which wasn't good. But oftentimes the A student worked for the B student to make the work.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, he's right, man. But so I think that, and by the way, I've been the only white boy at a house party in the projects in Dayton, Ohio. For real.
Look at that. You was a token white guy?
You know it. Yeah, I about got.
Believe me, I've been the token black guy in a lot of situations. So hey.
Yeah. Well, so look, so you grew up in the projects. And statistically, you are not supposed to be out of the projects.
Right.
Statistically, you're supposed to be in jail. Statistically, you're supposed to have a super long rap sheet and not go to college and not be a banker and not do all the stuff you've done. So tell me what was it? What was it as a kid that is it all your mom?
Hey, you know what? I got to give her credit for sure. But you know what? As a kid, I truthfully believe it's just something that's been in me from day one. My mother will tell you, my mentality has always been bigger and greater than the now. I've always been about what's next. I remember at 3 years old, and my mother get on me about how you remember when you were 3. I'm very selective in what I remember, right? But I was 3 years old on my tricycle with my Michael Jackson zipper jacket on, right? And I was like, I was sitting there thinking, like, I guess this is it. There's got to be something bigger. I'm 3. What am I doing talking about this? Has got to be something bigger than this.
Wow.
But I grew up fast. I mean, my mom had me when she was 15, so I had to always think ahead of the time, ahead of the game, So,
your mom,
but the mentality has always been there to be greater, man. I've always wanted to be a great, valuable person.
Well, yeah, I can tell you, your mom just said
Tell her to quit commenting and get off the goddamn thing, man.
She says, the mom, the Lord, and the stick.
Oh yeah, the stick. Yeah. Hey, let me tell you, I done got whooping with a couple of different things you probably should get a whooping with because I was. She didn't know what to do. She know what to do, man. But like you said, me being from my background, I shouldn't have a book I've written.
Yeah, right.
I shouldn't have a book. I shouldn't be an entrepreneur. I shouldn't have any dreams about being out of that box. I should be confined to my mentality, the people I'm surrounded myself with when I was younger. But I've always thought differently. Always. I tried stealing, Ken.
Yeah.
I tried stealing. I tried to do a whole lot of stuff, and I couldn't do it right.
I'm with you, man. I know.
Hey, as soon as I walked out the door, an arm was on my shoulder and said, hey. I said, So I just stopped.
I forgot to pay for this. My bad.
My bad.
So James says, I started out as Troy's token white guy.
Exactly. He did. I mean, cause, it's interesting, man. I'm all about time and relationships, and anyone that knows me, I always know that I talk about the 2 important currencies to me, which are time and relationships. Time you got to invest wisely.
Yeah.
Relationships get you places that money can't buy.
Amen.
And by me being from where I'm from me meeting billionaires, I thought one thing, meeting a millionaire was great. But when I met my first billionaire, I had so many questions. Do your poop stink? I mean, is there anything you do that's different? No, they just had a different mentality, and their mentality has always been doing something better and greater.
That is totally it. I love it. So you ended up in Nashville, which by the way is one of my favorite cities. I about 6 years ago took my wife and my mother-in-law and my little girls down and stayed at the Opryland Hotel, which is just an amazing place. But so you ended up in Nashville. You went to college. What college you go to?
Tennessee State University.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there and got my undergrad and master's from there. Dude. So that's another thing. You got your master's. What are you doing getting a master's degree, right? I was
Dude.
supposed to stop a long time ago.
Wow. That's incredible. What's your degree in?
Well, my undergrad is in speech communication and my master's is in education. So that's a
Wow.
whole nother story in itself. I mean, look, Ken, at one time I didn't think I needed to tell my story because I was always used to someone, you're black, oh, you're from the hood, tell me something new, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah.
black from the hood, blah, blah, blah. But I said, but Troy, your story, I'm talking to myself now, Troy, your story is what make you who you are. And that's why I've been able to get places or be able to go places because of my story. And that's one thing you can't take back is your story.
Wow, man. Wow. And I love this, man, because again, I didn't grow up in the hood at all. In fact, like my childhood, we didn't have, like, it was a all white area that I grew up in. Like I'd never even experienced meeting a black person until I was in my teens, right? So I didn't know, but like, and I'm sure there weren't many white folk in the area.
Depend on what projects you were in. Now, if you were in Montgomery Village in Vestal,
Yeah.
then they had plenty of others. They had white, Asian, anything. But
Did
it depends on where you were. So
But
depending on what project you were in.
my whole thing with you though is you end up with a master's degree, man, and that's
Very expensive one.
against all odds.
Yeah.
And so
Look,
after
I've never been to, hey Ken, I've never been to jail.
wow.
Only time I've ever been inside of a jail is when I go speak at the detention center here in Nashville.
Wow.
My first time going into a jail area. Now I visit cousins and relatives in jail,
Right.
but where I actually gone to like the pod,
Yeah.
that's a whole different mentality.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't know if you've ever been, but
yeah.
I'm good.
I've been.
I don't go there and stay. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot, so we wouldn't even go there. I don't drink anymore.
No
Been
judgment.
16 years.
No judgment. You know what? You know my first time I ever drunk any beer?
When?
I was 4.
4.
Yeah, so I had my first taste of beer it was either 3 or 4. I had my first taste of beer at 4, and at that time I said I don't like it. I was 4.
Wow.
So I had to start learning some stuff quick, and I made some decisions a long time ago. So
well, so you graduate, you get your master's degree, and along the way, I mean, growing up as a teenager, did you have jobs? Did you work at all?
Of course,
Did you?
So I worked. My first job I was 14,
Okay.
like on paper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've always had a work ethic because I worked cutting grass when I was younger. But look, I've always been an entrepreneur. I had my first. I've had companies I started when I was younger. I had my first rap label when I was 15 years old. So
Wow.
I had my first entrepreneur experience in middle school when I was selling videos I don't need to be selling.
When you were what now? Say.
So I was
sorry,
in middle school.
The internet had a little hiccup.
Yeah, I was in. My first business I ever owned was in middle school.
Okay.
I had my own video. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had my own video company. I was dubbing tapes and
Wow.
selling them at my locker.
Wow. Nice,
But look, there
dude.
were videos that teenagers shouldn't be selling. Let's put it that way.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lord have mercy is right. Lord have mercy. I tell you.
Yeah.
So I've always worked.
So after, but like, and you worked during college and all of that.
I did. So my biggest thing though, I was in ministry in college. I did a lot of campus ministry. I was what they call a campus missionary. So I was going out and planting churches and stuff like that. So when I got to college, Ken, before I went to college, let me tell you, my first experience, I had a child scare at 15 years old. Like I thought I was gonna have a kid at 15 myself.
Oh my.
So I was like, I got to do something different in my life.
Yeah.
So I always had an open attitude to spiritualness, right?
Yep.
So when I got to college, but my mentality was not going into ministry when I got to college. I wanted to make sure I slept with as many women I could when I was going to college, right? Because they had a ratio of 25-1.
Wow.
I'm gonna just be honest with you. And when I got to college, week 3, I got in the church. It wasn't planned.
Yeah.
It just happened. One guy used to always come to our dorm and try to preach to us and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But me being a talkative person
Yeah.
and talking too much, end up getting myself into a conversation with someone that changed my life forever.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went out. So from my freshman year of college, I started doing ministry stuff and ministry work. So that's what I was known for in school. I was called Pastor Troy. And I was always doing a lot of ministry work stuff, man. So I really, I played football for my first 2 years, and I found out I wasn't going to the NFL. I found out there was a lot of people better than me. My first experience in life sitting on the bench was in college. I sat on the bench. I was literally guarding the water cooler and everything else. So I experienced that. So in college, I done that, went to school at Tennessee State, and that's what I did. I did a lot of ministry stuff. So
wow, okay. Your mom just said, Lord, my baby going to get me locked up with the stories we could tell folks.
But either way, she'll be all right. She'll be all right.
She'll be all right. So, yeah. So you man, you did a lot all the way up to, like,
all the time.
Did you ever work at like McDonald's?
So in high school, I worked at Burger King.
Okay.
I worked at Burger King, Miss Winters, Great American Buffet.
Uh-huh.
And then I was a spokesman for the Boys and Girls Club Teen Center in Knoxville. So
wow, man.
Yeah.
Dude, so you've been hustling
my whole life.
You're like Rick Ross and
all day, every day.
In like real life.
In real life. I mean, because
James Springer don't know nothing about that, does he?
But yeah, man. So I've always wanted to be an inspiration to people. Every time, no matter what I've did, I always gone back. I remember my aunt telling me a long time ago, my aunt Pat, who's passed away, used to always say, Troy, you're going to be a pastor or something like that, right? I'm like, why is that? I'm like, whatever. But I think in regards to, I don't believe I'll be called to the traditional spiritual sense in the brick and mortar of ministry. I just believe that my ministry is just my story, and me actually going out and evangelize and just being able to show people, just encourage folks, inspire people to be better. So that's how. So when I think she was talking about being a minister, I think she was talking about in regards to just being myself. Yeah. There's been a lot of people's lives to be transformed and changed because you're just being you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So you
didn't want to turn it into a sermon on you. I apologize.
Did you after you got your master's degree? And by the way, anybody who shared this out, thank you. Troy's going to send you $10. So
there you go. I think you know what? Whoever shared it, I'll send them a book. Signed copy.
Snap!
Wow. That's what I will do.
Dang,
don't even worry about shipping the handle. I'll send it to you.
I can't share. That's not fair. So you like, dude, I want to go back to the master's degree. So go back. So you got your undergrad, and then you stayed there and said, I'm just going to go all in and get another degree on top of this, right? So
yeah.
Okay. So did you at any point, like, or after you got out, what did you do? Like, did you go get a job, or did you start? I mean, what did you do? Did you start a bank? What'd you do?
So the only reason I got a master's degree in education because I've been a lifelong student. So I didn't know what else to do. So when I got out of undergrad, I was afraid about what to do next, right? Which a lot of college students are. They don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I guess I'm going to give me an MBA so I can go into business because I thought I needed that. Mm-hmm. But I had so many prerequisites I had to take, it just wasn't going to happen. So someone in the grad school was like, hey, Troy, have you ever thought about going into education? I'm like, no. Educators don't make any money. She said, but Troy, you're a big black guy. you need black men. They said we need black men in the classroom, and your personality, you'll be a great coach, and they will grow and navigate. They'll grow to you. Well, I was like, let me just try it out and see. So I actually got accepted into grad school and in education. So that's what happened. So I said, well, I guess I'll go be an educator. But then when I got out of school and found out that educators don't really make anything for real in real life, it's really a calling to be an educator.
It really is, man.
I said, I need to do something else. So I was talking to my roommate. He said, why don't you go into banking? I said, you know what? Let me try it. And that's what happened. I just went into banking. And so what happened, I got engaged to my wife. Well, we got engaged in 2008. I said, well, hey, I need a job. I'm graduating grad school and I need a job.
Yeah.
So we moved to Memphis because that's where she's from. Okay. And I went to Memphis with a handbag, my Kroger bag. My duffel bag was a Kroger bag. I had my clothes in a Kroger bag and said, I'm moving in. and I need a job. So I called a friend of mine and who got me a job at Wells Fargo Financial, and I've been in banking ever since.
So you moved to Memphis?
Yeah, I moved to Memphis because I got married to my wife who never lived in Nashville. That's a whole nother story in
Now,
itself.
where do you live now?
I live in Nashville now.
Oh, okay. You got her out of Memphis?
So this is the story. I'm from Knoxville, went to school in Nashville to go to school.
Yeah.
Met my wife on a blind date who from a friend of ours hooked us up.
Yeah.
She lived in Memphis.
Uh-huh.
So we dated for a year and 10 months. And she had a house already. So I said, let's move to Memphis then.
Okay.
I was living with roommates.
Wow.
So I moved to Memphis, moved in with her, and we started our family doing what we need to do. And she said, I always want to live in Nashville. And I said, well, you know what? Give me 2 years and I'll get you to Nashville. A year and 10 months, we were in Nashville.
No kidding.
2010.
Wow.
So that's what I know it's back. It's a big one. It's a big gap.
So you ended up back in Nashville. Congratulations. Again, it's one of my favorite cities. I love that city, man. Matter of fact, I was downtown. There's a bar down in downtown Nashville. It's like 7 stories. Well, it's like every level has a different theme. Like one's a country bar. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm down in the bottom playing pool, and former quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, Steve McNair, walks in, and he slaps $50 down on the table that I was running. And I beat Steve McNair in a game of pool and took his $50.
Look at that. Look, crazy story about me meeting Steve McNair. So while I was in college, I sold shoes at Athlete's Foot.
Uh-huh.
And he came into Athlete's Foot and everybody was like, oh, big time, Showtime in the house. I'm like, who is Showtime? And they said, we got somebody big time in the house. I looked at him because, in football, they don't look like they do in real life.
He wasn't that big of a dude. Yeah,
so when I seen him, he's small, he was strong. I'm like, and me being myself, I walked over to him and said, who are you? And he said, I'm Steve McNair. I said, yeah, right. You're not no Steve McNair.
Right.
Steve McNair is much bigger than you. I mean, I'm literally telling this guy he's not. And he started showing me some stuff. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Right.
I apologize. So it happened.
He did. Hey,
so that's my crazy story.
When I met him, he had number 99 with him, which was one of his offensive linemen. And biggest brother I've ever met in my life, dude. This guy was like 12 feet tall, 7,000 pounds. I'm serious, man. I was like, this dude is
got you scared,
I was like looking up at him like that, but you
gotta watch who you talk to nowadays.
That's right, man. So you ended up back in Nashville. You're married at this point, and you're working as a banker. Are you still a banker? Yeah.
So I worked. I'm a mortgage loan originator now. So this is crazy. This is another thing that probably blow your mind. So I worked as from every little position besides a teller in a bank.
Wow.
Got up to the vice president level.
Whoa.
And so I had a vice president title. So I told my mama, hey, mom, I'm a vice president. I'm a VP now. So that was one of the most encouraging things, to come from where you're from to be a vice president of the bank is huge. So, but what was crazy is that I was sitting in front of my computer. So I did private banking investments, right?
Right.
That's where I got up to doing. And I was sitting in front of my computer. My wife had just had her second child, our daughter. And I was like, you know what? This is not it. I just don't feel fulfilled. I couldn't go where I needed to go. My wife needed me at the time. So I said, I got to do something different. I need to start doing something that fulfills me, but then I can also do things with my family whenever I needed to.
Right.
And that's why I got into mortgages. It's more of it's a strain, it's full commission.
Yeah.
But you know what? In sales, that's one of the most profitable things you can do in life is being sales. So, and that's when I started moving forward into doing Most Moto, my own personal branding and some other things. I've had companies in the past. I've sold companies, bought them, lost them, everything.
Wow.
But yeah, I started noticing I want to be more fulfilled in what I do. And so I started thinking about, Ken, what does success mean to me?
Right.
Because success at one time meant to me the money, the car and the house and everything else.
Right.
And then I started seeing the success means to me is that actually being able to do what I want to do, when I want to, how I want to.
Right.
And that don't mean if you have more money or not, but just being with my family, taking care of my family and inspiring people and doing things that I actually love to do is a success to me.
I love it, man. I love it. So you got into when did you write your book?
I wrote my book and it came out this year. I wrote it last year, but it came out in January.
Okay.
So we have almost 1,000 copies of that book out, self-published. I almost have 1,000 copies out in the world.
Good for you, man. Good for you. So you've been out there. You've done a lot of stuff, man. My mind's racing right now. So you became a VP. You said at Wells Fargo.
No, so I worked at, well, the VP was at, my last place was SunTrust. That's where I was the vice president. Yeah. So, but when you go to different places, those bankers, they move around a lot. So, you lose the title and stuff at times, but hey, I started learning, an old manager of mine told me a long time ago, it doesn't matter about the title as long as you can pay me. So I started to take care of some things. Right. But, so now, what I do now, Ken, I do my mortgages. That's my main thing. That's bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of speaking now because of the fact of wanting to spread the idea of the mindset of being successful.
Right.
So I've actually gone, I do a lot of speaking now. I've done a lot of speaking this year because I made a commitment to actually saying I'm going to start walking into what my gift is, which is speaking and inspiring people. So I made that commitment. And at that point, things just start opening up. As you know, commitment, if you commit to something, the doors just start opening.
Right.
So I've spoken all over Nashville, and I've actually spoken a little bit out of town here and there. But
hold on. Let me ask you this. I want to back up. I don't want to zoom past that point. You just said when you say that again. When you commit to something.
Yeah, when you commit to it, then that's when doors start to open.
Right. I literally just had this conversation with somebody right before we got on, and I said, you have to make a decision to commit. You have to decide, is this what I want to do? And if it is, then you have to commit that you want to dominate that industry, right?
I hear you, Grant Cardone. Go ahead. You want to dominate.
Come on, man. Grant's my buddy, man.
Yeah.
I got his bracelet.
That's right.
Don't be that, man. So like, that's the thing is like it's all about committing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to zoom past that. Like you made
let me break it down some more. So I got a formula that I call MAX. Like Big Macs.
Yeah.
But it's motivation plus application plus commitment equals success.
Boom.
So you can be motivated all you want, which I'm all about motivation, but then there's a point where you got to apply it. So application comes in play. Yep. But then after all that is done, you got to commit.
Yep.
And only at that time when you have all three of those components together, that's when you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So, then success. So like Errol Nightingale says, everyone's self-made, but only successful willing to admit it.
That's right.
You don't want to admit that you're bummed because you decided to be a bum. You're insecure because you decided to be insecure.
That's right.
They're all self-made, but only successful willing to commit it.
Yeah.
I've had some successful customers that have cussed me out and say, I'm self-made. Because they decided to do that. They decided to make the money that they have. So you can't tell someone that's committed that they're not supposed to be there.
Wow.
That's what happens. If you commit to something, doors start to open. I met my wife based off of commitment, meaning to myself.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on the phone talking to my friend, and I remember I said when I was 23, I said, look, this year going to my 23rd birthday, I'm gonna commit to not worrying about who I'm gonna marry and who I'm gonna be with. I'm just gonna do what I need to do, put my head down and do what I need to do. And at that point, I met my wife.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. Whenever you commit to doing it, all of a sudden.
That's it.
Just think about it. When you stop worrying about something, when you commit to not worrying, I'm not going to worry about this situation no more. As soon as you stop, the opportunities start to come.
That's it.
Yeah. Jesus take the wheel, right?
That's it.
That's all he's asking. He just said, hey, give me the wheel. I'll take it from here whenever you're ready.
That's it, man. You gotta, there's an amazing book. It's all about kinesiology, which is, muscle testing. It's called Power versus Force. And, one of the things that they say in there is that the, once you let go, like surrender, letting go is far more powerful. Like anytime you try to push too hard on something, you automatically create resistance. So by letting go, it's actually more powerful. So I totally I agree with everything you're saying. So let's go to, so you end up back in Nashville. How old are y'all at that point?
Well, so I was 20. I'm 35 now. So,
Okay.
So I've been here since 2010. So, yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I need
Okay.
Even though I'm a banker, I need a calculator. So
yeah.
I've
So you were 28,
28,
27, 28. So 27, 28 years old, you move back to Nashville and you're working as a banker, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that ever going to stop, you think?
Sometime, I learned, this was crazy. So I got my undergrad. I got my master's in education, and I said, what am I ever going to use this master's for?
Right.
What? It's not going. But look, I'm a true believer that all things count. All the small things count.
Yep.
So now, although I have my master's in education, now I'm on the board of a school. Those things play now because I've had that experience and I got that credential. So banking will probably always be there because I can always inspire and help people about banking and finance.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in regards to full timing, probably not. I probably won't be doing it full time forever because I plan on building the brand of Troy Smith and whatever I'm doing.
Now, do you go to an office every day or do you work from home? How do you do it?
I work from home, but I cover like 10 different, not 10, about 5 different branches.
Oh,
so
wow.
I work anywhere I want.
Wow.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're in Nashville or anywhere in the Southeast region and need a mortgage, give me a call. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. You just call me directly. Inbox me. Let's do it.
Yeah. And if you do it with him, hit me up too so I can get my referral commission from him.
There you go. We'll do that too. We'll take care of you. You ain't hear me say that, but I got you.
Yeah. So what'd you say? You ain't allowed to say that. We're just kidding. Whoever regulates
we're just
the
kidding.
industry.
We're just kidding. Just let me know.
Yeah. So you've got this book. Hold your book up again, man.
Yeah. The Mindset of Successful Thinking.
Okay. So I'm a best-selling author and I wrote my book last year. I published it last year. And I took a page right out of Grant Cardone's story. Grant wrote Sell or Be Sold. He wrote that in 3 hours, literally. That's his first book. And I remember when I had the epiphany at 48 years old or 49, whatever, I need to write a book. I literally committed, all right, if Grant can do one in 3 hours, then I can do one in a week for sure.
Yeah.
So I did, and I wrote it. I banged it out in 1 week, and I made the commitment. I made the decision. I made the decision first. I committed to it, and I did it. And so, what inspired you? What was the moment? Because it's a moment for anybody that hasn't written a book. I promise you, anybody that has written a book can say, oh yeah, I remember I made this decision because I blah, blah, blah. What was the moment for you that you were like, I got to write a book?
So I thought about writing a book back in 2008.
Right.
But it was just a thought.
Yep.
And I never committed to writing. But I always said, I want to talk about the mindset of successful thinking.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. It's always been stewing.
Yeah.
So, but I started realizing what success means is totally different than everyone else. That's why. That's what happened. So I sat there one day and just said, man, I need to get this thing out. And the longer I kept talking about it, I was telling someone about writing a book in 2008, like I said. In years, I kept talking about it. So it got to 2014, I believe. I was sitting down with one of my clients who's actually the author, Rob Simbeck, who's actually a ghostwriter for a lot of big name people, Eddie George to Cal Turner from Dollar General.
Uh-huh.
And he was sitting down talking to me. He said, everyone has a story to tell. And I was like, you're right. I've been thinking about writing a book for a while. He said, why you haven't written it? And at that point, I just said, I'm going to put it out. Yeah. But this was funny. So I started writing. He started coaching me and keeping me accountable. Yeah. I started writing the book. So it took like 2 months, 2 months at the most. And I was basically at chapter 9. I was almost done. And the chapter I stopped on was procrastination. I'm writing a chapter on procrastination, and I stopped. And then 3 years later, I picked the book back up.
Wow, come on.
And then, so at that, but look, Ken, I
Dude,
had
that's
like 12.
so ironic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I had 12 chapters already in mind, and I was like, well, I got to make my book thick and blah, blah, blah. And I said, Troy, put the book out. And I did it. In January, I said, I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out as is. And it happened to be the best thing I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the epiphany came where I believe that everyone has a story to tell. I mean, and I was talking to another customer of mine who wrote a book about being in Vietnam. And I said, what made you write a book? He said, because if I didn't write this book, no one would know my story about my experience.
Yep.
At that point, I said, I gotta do it.
Wow.
So that's what happened.
So you've got this book out. You're doing.
I got another one on the way. I got 3 or 4 of them. And now as you started going,
yep.
Now all of a sudden the brain is just going and moving and moving. So I got another one that I written in 2006. I'm putting out, and I always said it was my first book in 2006, but I never did nothing with it. It was just for a school project. Well, guess what? That same story and that same book is relevant today. I'm gonna put it out. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll be out by the beginning of next year.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So what's what else is coming for you? What do you got cooking, man? What's on the horizon for you?
So Most Moto, like I said before, which y'all can follow it. If you mind me, can I plug this now?
No, go ahead, do it.
Okay, so on any social media platform, type in Most Moto, which is MOSTMOTO 365. Most Moto 365. And what Most Moto is a positive environment of people that's motivated to be successful. Awesome. But not only in their own life, but they want to inspire people edify them, encourage them to be better than they were 5 minutes ago. So it's about impacting people, and also while you're impacting people, your life will be transformed at the same time. We do a lot. So I'm doing events. I do daily motivationals on my Facebook page, and also I do some speaking events for that. What's cooking right now is that I do some sales training for some real estate offices, but then mostly I'm also going to be going down to the Nashville Detention Center starting December 1, once a month, going through my book and telling my story and inspiring these young men to be greater. So wow. That's the thing that we're doing next. That's what's on the horizon right now.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I may have spent a little bit of time in a detention center as a teenager.
Okay. Yeah, but hey, that's the part. That's the good thing about it. People look at you and think, "Not Ken." Yes, Ken.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Story. So that's what it's all about.
Yes, Ken. So as you're 35 years old, so I got 15 years on you, but that don't matter. I mean, what's the thing if somebody what do you think it is that keeps most people, because we talked in the beginning of this interview, we talked about you being from the projects, me being from a poor area, and that we both know people in the neighborhoods that we grew up in that are still there. And they're and I know they're going to be there forever, no matter what is said to them. Jesus himself could show up and smack them, and they'd be like, "Yo, man, I'm good. Leave me alone." Right? So
exactly.
So what do you feel keeps those people stuck, man? That keeps people stuck in that limited mindset?
I'll tell you one thing: relationships. That's the main. Bad company corrupts good character. So you can have all the intentions in life to do well, but if you surround yourself with the same people all the time that's not wanting to go, then you're going to stay right there, mentally and physically.
Bad company corrupts good character.
1 Corinthians 15:33.
Love
Bad
that.
company corrupts good character, man. So, look, I grew up around the same environment, but I just did things differently. People look at me now. So when I was growing up and I went to college and I came back, like a lot of college kids come back different.
Yeah.
I started coming back hailing how, I was just blazing about getting people saved, right?
Yeah.
They're like, Troy, you've never been bad. In their book, I've never been bad.
Right.
But to me, I've always wanted to be better.
Right.
And so that's what kept me going. And it's all about self-motivation too.
Yeah.
You gotta be a self-starter and believe that, hey, this is not me.
But
so, and that's why you gotta
surround people,
yourself.
Though, there's a lot of people that probably think that they're self-starters, but they're not really making it in life. What
we go back, hey Kim, remember we talked about commitment?
Yeah,
you got to commit.
I totally
and decide.
I agree, man. I agree, but there's a huge problem with making a commitment, and that problem is if I commit to I'm going to be because look, you and I also know that there's guys smaller than you that make it in the NFL. All right. So I don't think it was you weren't going to make it in the NFL. I think it was you weren't going to commit to the pain that was required to make it in the NFL.
I realized something. There's people that was better than me.
Right.
But so also everyone doesn't get a trophy. Every kid don't get a trophy.
Right.
That's me. So like in real life, there's the reason why people don't commit and make a decision to do stuff is because they don't want to be let down. Look, I didn't get into a lot of relationships and get to know a lot of people because I was afraid that the relationship would go south.
Right.
Because of an argument, because I would have got let down, or I couldn't trust them. And what it comes down to is that you just make a decision to say, I'm going to go with it. And then whatever experience I learned from it, that's what I would utilize to go to the next point. That's all. Experience.
Right.
Look, I've been let down a lot. Look, I've been plenty of times I was waiting on my dad to come to pick me up when he said he was coming.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, you know what's sad? But I can't be mad at him because my mom would be mad at this. But I can't be mad at him because he didn't know no better because he didn't learn it from his dad.
Right.
So when you start thinking about the other things, that's why people do what they do. They don't know any better.
That's all the scorpion riding on the frog, right? Like you can't the scorpion's just doing what scorpions do, man. Like, you can't get mad at the scorpion. Like he's just a scorpion. Like don't give a scorpion a ride.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's a prime example, man.
Yeah.
But look, so bad company once again corrupts good character.
Dude, I love that, man. Somebody type that in the comments. Bad company corrupts good character. I love that. So, and my buddy Chris Saraceno is a best-selling author of a book called The Theory of Five, and in the book talks about the 5 people you hang out with, right? And it's incredible. He interviews some really successful people, including Grant Cardone in this book. So like when you run it, like you've been, well, I don't know if you've been here or not. I have, but if somebody comes to you, and I ask everybody on this show this question, somebody comes to you and they say, Troy, man, I don't know what to do. I can't pay my bills. My electric's getting shut off tomorrow. My car got repoed last week. My wife's leaving me. My dog died. Everything's going wrong in my life, and I can't figure it out. What? And and I know that all starts there, and it's got to line up with that right there, right? Mm-hmm. We know what the problem is, but how do you get them to understand what it is and help them? What do you say to that person? And that's a made up thing, but maybe it's happened. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe
it's not.
You've been
that's
there.
Not made up. That's real life.
Yeah, right.
That's real life.
Right.
Yeah. So what I tell people all the time, I was like, so all that's happening, let's think about the positive that comes from it. Are you still breathing? It's a simple thing. They're like, yeah, but that's not okay. Let's go to the next thing. Is that person still around? Are they still with you? Yes, but still, my wife's going to leave me. Okay, understand. What about the good thing that you? I always go back to the positive, because we can think negative all we want, man, but it just comes down to a decision to say, do you want to stay there? And they say yes or no. And if they want to stay there, they will stay there. If they don't, it'll change.
Wow.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because the question would be, okay, so do you want to stay there or do you want to leave?
Right.
And that's so. Like, for example, in the projects, do you want to stay here or do you want to leave? Well, I want to leave, but no. Do you want to stay here or do you want to leave?
Come on, man.
Okay, for example, I'm a big guy. If you haven't noticed, I'm not no longer 120. Okay, I've been a big guy my whole life. But the thing is that I want to stay there or do I want to leave? Do I want to be healthier in regard? Okay, if I'm a big guy, but can I breathe? Can I walk up the steps without falling out?
Right.
You know, simple things like that. So you got to take baby steps. So like this morning, I put up a post about how it used to take me an hour to do 3.5 miles. Literally on the treadmill, it took me an hour to do 3.5 miles.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I can do the same amount of work or better work in less time. So I gave myself a goal. I said, I'm going to try to do 3 miles in under 30 minutes. It's a big goal. It's a stretch, but it's baby steps.
Right.
So it went from 3 miles under 45 minutes, 3 miles under 40 minutes, 3 miles under 35 minutes. And then all of a sudden I get 3 miles at 3 minutes, 3 miles at 30 minutes. That's a huge baby step. You know, the baby steps count. Yeah. So the question is always, do you want to stay there or do you want to leave?
That's
and if you want to stay there, hey, more power to you. I don't want to be there.
That's right. You know, one of the things and maybe it's maybe it's all the walls that I've hit in life. But do you find yourself ever, and it's kind of a rhetorical question, but in that scenario, it's hard. Do you find it hard to feel empathy? Or maybe it's sympathy. I don't know. Like, you know, it's because you know and I know it's a choice.
Yes. Yes. But I tell you what, Ken, when we go through stuff, I now have more grace than I ever had in my life before.
Amen.
So like when I was first doing ministry in the beginning, man, I would tell you that you're going to hell in a minute until I experience it. And then when I experience it, I'm like, well, hold on a second. Let me look at this a little differently. Right. Because grace, when you start going through experiencing things yourself, you have grace, and grace abounds even more. So look, like right now, Ken, no matter what you try to do, you can try to run from what your gifts are, but your gifts will always be in you.
Yep.
Dude, there's nothing in me that wanted to talk about any ministry stuff right now. Right. But all of a sudden, as I continue to keep talking, what's in you is going to come out. That's why when it says you can't hide anything under a lamp, you know, you don't hide under a lamp. The lamp actually shows light to the darkness, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I tell people all the time, the battle's not what you're doing in front of people. The battle's what you're doing not in front of folks. That's what's going to come out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to come out a whole lot. So, man.
Yeah. You're right.
So.
You're right.
I just went off track there. My bad, man.
No, dude, you're not. You're bad. That's good stuff, man. Preach it. I totally, I agree with you, man.
So when you said, is it hard to show empathy or sympathy at times? It depends on where the person is if you know them.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, myself, you know better. Ken, you know better.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
And go do what you need to do. Right?
That's right.
So, but when it comes down to showing grace and empathy, yes, I got plenty of grace. I'm more graceful now than I was before, that's for sure. As I got older. Because, you know, I'm trying to make sure my insides are good. So last thing I'm trying to do, because as soon as you start judging somebody, say, look at that home wrecker or whatever. Next thing you know, you're doing the same thing.
That's right. So, yeah, remove the plank from your eye.
Oh, man, I got a lot of them in there, man. I mean, it's all type of sweet. You know, I got all type of stuff in there.
Right,
but
I could build a new shed out back.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. So like, dude, you're awesome. I love your spirit and your energy and what you're doing, man. You're the real deal, man. I appreciate James hooking us up.
Yeah, all about relationships, man.
It is. So,
and I'm glad James reached back out to you and said, "Hey, are you gonna interview this guy or what?"
I know. Well, honestly, man, I get. It doesn't
you're
matter.
busy. You're busy.
It's
man.
Crazy.
Hey,
it's crazy.
That's what I was talking about. So this how was funny. Ken said, "Hey, I'm not Ken, but James said, has Ken reached out to you yet?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't heard from him yet." Yeah. And then when you hit me up, I said, "James must have said something." God dang it.
He did.
But it's all about relationships. I'm so glad I'm connected to you because since I'm connected to you, Ken, opportunities have come that will come because of this.
Yeah.
And the same thing vice versa. I'm all about, so I started learning as well about, do I want to be a person of interest or a person of value?
Oh.
I started thinking about that. So I said, do I want to be a person of interest? Look, we know about a lot of people that you're interested in knowing, but they have no value to you.
That's right.
So you don't care about them.
Right.
But when you have someone of value, you go places and do things because you're valuable.
That's right.
So that's why I want to be a person of value. I care less about the interest. The interest is good.
Yeah.
But if I'm valuable to you, Ken will make sure we hook up. If I'm valuable, James will make sure we hook up. If I'm valuable, my mother's going to make sure I'm in the best place possible. If I'm valuable, my wife is going to make sure I'm covered as well. So same thing.
You know, I have I do work with a lot of people, business owners, and some celebrities that I work with that you know, we work on how to use social media and, you know, things like that. And you know, it amazes me. You know, it's to dig it out of this, my money clip would be tough, but I have Malachi 3 in my wallet, that I've carried that scripture in there for 30 years. And it was given to me by a pastor 30 years ago. And it's, you know, bring the whole tithe and offering into the storehouse, and my children may have food. Test me in this way, says the Lord, and see if I won't throw open the floodgates of heaven, and, you know, et cetera. But you know, I've carried that not to, because I'm far from the perfect dude, but you know, I do give and I help as much as I possibly can at all times. And it amazes me how many people get on social media and do nothing but try to get attention for themselves and talk about themselves and how great they are and why you should buy this from me, or what and you know, just by helping other people out, you get more attention. Just by helping other people out, you get more of that back. Just by helping other people get, you know, I'm friends with Zig Ziglar's kids, and Julie Ziegler and I talked 2 nights ago. And that's one of the things that I see them living. They live their father's legacy. And he said it, he coined the phrase that if you help enough other people get what they want in life.
That's it. That's all I was going to say. That's it.
Right. And I literally, 2 months ago, I was standing in Ziegler headquarters in Dallas, Texas, hanging out with Tom Ziegler and Julie Ziegler and Cindy Ziegler. And I'm standing there in total awe, because their father meant that much to me in my life, right? And they're they are literally living what their father taught, right?
Great.
And when you live from that place, and that's what you're doing, that's what you're talking about. When you live from that place where you're like, I'm going down to the detention center, and I'm going to speak, and I'm going to talk about my book, and there may be 20, 30, 50 people in that room listening to you, and you may only get to one of them, but that's one life that you've impacted.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Ken, go on that. Boy, you preaching now, boy.
No, dude, I love what you're doing, man. I love it. I love your spirit. I love what you're doing, man. So keep doing what you're doing. Let me ask you this. How can everybody on here follow you?
Okay, so look, on all social media, like I said before, MostMoto 365. Then you can go follow me personally as well. I say more be an ambassador is Troy M. Smith 35 on any social media.
Okay.
But then also you go to my website, TroyMSmith.com.
Okay.
Troy M as in Michael Smith.com.
Okay. So Troy, I want to thank you for being on the show. I know that you went out and bought a special webcam
didn't even use it now. I'm taking it back.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all about resources, man. So
yeah.
And about using what you have, and I'm all about the now. So, like, for example, we started this show out. It wasn't because of Ken. It was because of me and my technical stuff. That's just what it is. And this is my first time ever doing a Skype interview.
Yeah.
Or a Skype thing. So, experiences, learn everything, but now I'll be ready for the next one.
That's right.
I appreciate you having me on, man, and just being patient and get some things going and help me share my story with your people. So,
dude, you're a good guy, and I appreciate all your friends and followers, and your mom. Your mom is on here, man.
Hey, she's a trip, man. You gotta be careful with her, man. I tell you what.
I love your mom already, man. She seems like a great
Man,
lady.
my mom is she's special to me. She's not only my mother, but she's like a sister to me.
Yeah.
So even though I respect her as my mother, believe me or not, she still a whoop me to this day. But we grew up
yeah. Dude, I think you got a whooping coming later when she sees you, man. I think you may have crossed the line.
She got to catch me first. She got to catch me first. But either way, we grew up together. So
yeah,
that's what helped. She helped me be able to work, be married, to be my wife, because I learned through her. So
that's awesome.
It's great.
Dude. That's awesome. Well, man, congratulations.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations to you on all your success. Keep being you, man. Keep doing your thing. If I can ever help you in any way, I'm a phone call away. I genuinely appreciate you coming on. Everybody, if you're not already following Troy, send him a friend request. Follow him. And your mom said, "Hey, you right, Ken? Hey, you getting a whooping, dude." So take pictures.
But honestly,
if anybody, Suzette, send those to me. I gotta see this.
If anyone actually want a copy of the book, because I'm on this show, Ken, I'm gonna send you one too, and I'll send you a signed copy of it. If you share this video with friends and family, and I believe me, I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah.
And I'll send you a free copy of the book. So.
Dude, that's awesome, man. You're awesome. I really appreciate you jumping on here. Congrats, man. Keep being you. You rock.
Appreciate it, Ken.
All right. All right. Don't hang up on Skype. You guys, everybody on here who shared this out, thank you. Really genuinely appreciate your support and following the show. Troy is amazing. Thank you guys, all of you, for being on here. And we will see you guys all on Monday. Have a great weekend. And we're out. Thanks, Troy.